course, the choice the Tory party made in November 1990. And now our exit poll, based on talking to lots of people as they came out of the polls today in some of the key marginal constituencies. Just like any other poll, it has its range of error one way and the other, but it's just a first indication of the story we may be getting as the night goes on. I won't give it to you till 10 o'clock in case you still want to vote. But here we are, 10 o'clock, and our view is it's going to be a hung parliament. This election is too close to call. We're saying it could be from the Conservatives short by 10 of an overall majority to Labour, the largest party, and short by 13 of an overall majority. And the likeliest outcome is the Conservatives short by 25, which would leave John Major possibly as Prime Minister, but having to put together, make some arrangements with other parties or rely on other parties not to vote him out, to get the 326 he needs. We're saying at the moment the Conservatives are likely to be short by 25 of the 326, but as you see from that screen, it's possible that the Labour Party will be short by only 13 and that they will be the largest party, thus completely changing the political complexion. So it's all depends on the first real results that come through.
One of the safest seats in the country. But on the wider scene, we're going to have to wait about 5 hours until we hear from the Prime Minister himself.
Thanks, Kate. And as Big Ben strikes 10, the polls close, we can give you the results of our exit poll. We've spoken to 14,000 people in 200 constituencies tonight, and we hope they've been telling us the truth. There it is, 10 o'clock, and we say Tony Blair is to be Prime Minister and a landslide is likely. And reaction from Sedgefield already down there on the right in the Labour Club, all applauding there. Conservative Party headquarters, rather more sombre scenes. So here are the details. Tony Blair to be Prime Minister, and this is why. Labour, 47%. The Conservatives, 29%, according to our exit poll. That would be the worst result, not just this century, but if you care to go back that far, to the Tory vote after the Great Reform Act in 1932 when they were led by the Duke of Wellington. The Liberal Democrats on 18%, pretty much what they did at the last election, others on 6%. Quite so right. NOP this time have asked 18,000 voters in constituencies across the country to fill in a simulated ballot paper outside the polling station just after they've voted. And fingers crossed, if they've been filled in truthfully, we won't have egg on our faces when the real results start coming through in 3/4 of an hour. And our exit poll says another Labour landslide. Tony Blair has won that second full term for Labour that was always his ambition. We are saying a Labour majority of around 160. It could be a bit either side of that. It could even be above the 179 that they had last time. Well, that's their first reactions, but let's now find out exactly how this exit poll came about, what it actually says about the percentage of the vote. Peter.
David, we talked about 18,000 people, and here's what they told us. The share of the vote. And if you think this looks awfully like that staggering Labour success in 1997, you'd be very right. 44% the Labour Party, 32% the Conservative Party, 17% the Liberal Democrats, and 6% the others.
The exit poll is an absolutely fascinating clue, no question, but it's no more than that. Usually the clue is right, but famously in 1992 it was completely wrong. The exit poll said a Labour government, the voters said a Tory government.
As Big Ben strikes 10, the polling stations will close. It will be too late to vote, and I can give you the result of our exit poll, which is this election has been won by Labour, but with a majority down from 160 to 66. The Conservatives are on 209. That's a gain of around 44 seats. A disappointing night if the poll is right for the Liberal Democrats. They're on 53, they gain around 2 seats. So there is the exit poll.
Here we have, then, the share of the vote in our poll as suggested by the people we spoke to. Labour on 37%, a little bit down on many of the polls during the campaign. 33% the Conservatives, right where they were at the last election, much where they were in many of the polls during the campaign. 22% the Liberal Democrats, showing not much sign of the leap that some people thought they might have taken in the polls. And the others on 8%.
Big Ben strikes 10, we'll be able to give the result of our exit poll. For the first time, not an opinion poll, not people saying how they intend to vote, but people answering the question after they've voted. How did you vote? And that's how this is formed. We went to 130 different polling places to find this out. But remember, this is only an exit poll. If it was dead accurate, there'd be no need for anybody to go and vote. 10 o'clock. And this is what we're saying. It's going to be a hung parliament with the Conservatives as the largest party. And the figures, the Conservatives on 307, short by 19 of the 326 they'd need for an overall majority. Labour on 255, the Liberal Democrats on 59, and others on 29. And if that's right, the Liberal Democrats, despite all that noise and fury, have actually dropped 3 seats, which could be one reason why you need to be a bit sceptical about this exit poll. To make it up, NOP and Mori spoke to 18,000 people in 130 polling stations in England, Scotland and Wales, and they did it for the BBC, for ITV News and for Sky. All these polls, of course, have a small margin of error, which could be significant in a tight election like this. In fact, we're almost on the cusp of knowing what actually has happened. 3 main Westminster parties so close in the opinion polls right through, and possibly so close tonight. And there could be different voting patterns around the country. Of course, the exit poll, again, tries to take account of that, but it may not necessarily have got it right. Different people voting in different ways throughout the UK. Everybody agrees this has been a very complicated election. There's the exit poll. It's just a start. Everything to play for. When the first results coming in, it could be a different picture from the one we're showing here. So we better get started. First, with our exit poll, which even now I can't reveal until Big Ben strikes 10. Remember, this is an exit poll, very carefully calculated, not necessarily on the nail. But here it is, 10 o'clock. And we are saying the Conservatives are the largest party. And here are the figures which we have. Quite remarkable, this exit poll. The Conservatives on 316. That's up 9 since the last election in 2010. Ed Miliband for Labour, 77 behind him at 239, down 19 from the last election. And the other parties, the Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party. Look at the Scottish National Party. 58 for Nicola Sturgeon. That's every seat but 1 in Scotland, taken by the SNP. Nick Clegg for the Liberal Democrats on 10. That's down 47 from the last election. UKIP, we're saying on 2. Treat that with caution, because it's a new entry, in a sense, in this game. It's difficult to work out in places where UKIP hasn't stood before what it'll be like, but that's what we're saying at the moment. 2 for UKIP. So that's the remarkable scene that our exit poll is revealing. We shall discover when the first results start coming in how accurate it is. But if that is the story, it is a quite sensational story. There are just over 20 seconds to go till Big Ben strikes 10. Then I'll be able to reveal the results of the BBC, ITV and Sky joint poll. Over 30,000 people, 144 polling stations were questioned today, and by the magic of psephology, we're able to predict what we think has happened tonight. And what we're saying is the Conservatives are the largest party. Note, they don't have an overall majority at this stage. 314 for the Conservatives, that's down 17. 266 for Labour, that's up 34. The SNP, the Scottish National Party, 34, down 22. Treat that figure with a bit of caution for technical reasons about the exit poll, which I don't need to explain right now. The Liberal Democrats on 14, up 6, and the smaller parties, Plaid Cymru stays on 3, the Greens on 1, none for UKIP, and the others 18. Well, the Prime Minister called this election because she wanted, as she put it, certainty and stability. And this doesn't seem, at this stage, to look like certainty and stability.
Just seconds away from the result of the exit poll, our first prediction of the potential outcome of this election. More than 20,000 people were asked how they voted today at 144 polling stations right across the UK on behalf of the BBC, ITV and Sky. So, as Big Ben reaches 10 o'clock, we are standing by with those crucial exit poll figures. Here they are. Our exit poll is suggesting that there will be a Conservative majority when all the votes are counted after this election of December 2019. The Conservatives on 368 seats and Labour way down on 191. Now, on those figures, we are looking at a Conservative majority of 86 if the votes actually tally up with this prediction, and that will be the biggest Conservative majority since Margaret Thatcher's third victory back in 1987. Let's look at that Labour figure of 191 for Jeremy Corbyn. That would be the worst Labour result in modern times, and certainly worse than the figure obtained by Michael Foot back in 1983, a low point for Labour. Let's look at the wider picture. And here we have the figures for all the parties. The Conservatives, we are suggesting on 368, that is a rise of 50 seats in this election, as suggested by the exit poll. Labour on 191, suffering as many as 71 losses. That's the suggestion of the poll. And the SNP on 55, making some 20 gains. The Lib Dems on 13, up just 1 seat. Plaid Cymru on 3, losing a seat. The Greens on 1, no change. The Brexit Party not winning any seats, according to this exit poll. And the others, most of those in Northern Ireland, making up 19.
So, we're seconds away from 10 o'clock and the exit poll, a first indication of how the night might unfold. More than 20,000 people took part on behalf of the BBC, ITV News and Sky in this first July election since 1945. 326 seats are needed to win. So, here we go.
And as Big Ben strikes 10, the exit poll is predicting a Labour landslide.
Sir Keir Starmer will become Prime Minister with a majority of around 170 seats.
The exit poll predicts that Labour will have captured 410 seats, adding 209. It suggests the Conservatives will have lost 241 MPs, landing on 131.
On to the other numbers. The Liberal Democrats up 53 on 61 seats. Reform on 13 seats. The SNP down 38 seats. According to this exit poll, on 10 Plaid Cymru are on 4, they're up 2, and the Greens are up 1 on 2.
All the pointers tonight are that Sir Keir Starmer is taking Labour back to power, only the 5th Labour leader to win a general election. These are the first indications of what may unfold, but a moment of history beckons.